Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Backpacktrader Training Room for Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries significant risks and should only be entered into using risk capital, i.e. funds that you can afford to do without. All right. Markets are open, and the Russell with a new short just triggered in. YM, and we are on the March contracts for Micro Russell, the YM, the Micro NQ. Volume. I didn't look yesterday morning because I was in bed sick, but definitely it was about a 50-50 split for the day yesterday, and this morning it's very solidly on the March contract. But that one went too far to pick up. And let's see, where are we on soybeans? Looks like soybeans touched our entry, so that one is off the table. And there is a new trade right there. Long at 14.75 even. Okay, break-even trade on the Russell and a new short on the YM that looks like it's successful already, or trying to be. And hitting money management, target one is 34 ticks. Didn't quite get down there. And stopping out at 908 for a partial. So we'll need another trade there. Soybeans trade did trigger in. Looks to me like, yeah, there's another blue trade. So short again. Good morning, Arizona Bob. Good morning, Jeff. And money management again. So this will definitely be a POQ trade on the YM. And there's target one this time. 28 ticks and stopping out for a few more on the trailer. At 8:53, the entry on that trade was 8:59, so picking up 6 more on the trailer. POQ there, target one on soybeans. That will be a POQ trade. We're done with the YM. Soybean stop comes to 75.25. We'll have to wait for the trailer from the currently track trade to catch up with us. Right. All right, let's take, while we've got a little bit of a lull there, let's take a look at crude oil. 9 o'clock start, goes too far, it hits money management. So that trade is off the table. No trigger on the short at 901.34. We finally come up and get a long at 902.21. That triggers in. Meanders about for a few bars, then goes up through money management and target 1. Comes back and stops out at 74.82. From the entry at 73. So 9 ticks on the trailer and 16 on target for 25 ticks on the morning and POQ. All right. Oh my. Soybeans hitting targets 2 and 3. So we have 10, 16, and 22 ticks. 26, 48 ticks. 12 points, $600 worth for single contracts to each of those positions. Trailing stop is still at 75.25, although it's about to move up. On the close of this bar, it's going to move up to 76 even. Good morning, Pamela. So, unleaded. First trade of the morning is the long at 902.24. Lots of time to get into that. Target 1 traders will be POQ, getting 42 ticks to target 1. Target 2 traders get a really good partial, actually getting up to the stop is at 5.7. The entry for the short is at 5.8. And I would go ahead and take the entry, take it, stop and reverse at 5.8, since we are positive, and that's a pretty good size profit there. 5.8 from the entry at 2.6. Yeah, 32 ticks. So target 1 traders got 32 and 42 for 74 ticks. Target 2 traders picked up 64 on the partial. Then you are short from 58. Quickly down to money management, target 1 and target 2. So 35 ticks to target 2. On top of the 64 ticks we've already got. Trailing out at 51 from the entry at 58. So another 7 ticks. So 42 and 64 gives us 106 ticks. Not a bad day. All right, soybeans trailer at 1477 even. Pull up the MNQ. Russell there, now starting to get going. Looks like we had the break even. That is likely an avoidable trade on the long. Just spiking to the entry and going to the stop. Looks like probably something similar on the short. This is going to be a big trade because of the wick on the long. It triggers in. Ooh. 3, 4. I would say that one was too fast to execute. We got 4 seconds to this bar here. None of the next bars even get down to the entry, so looks to me like it's not tradable. So we pass on that one, even though it's a nice, successful trade. All right, MNQ starting at 4 minutes after the hour, or after the market open. So that's right in there. First trade is the short. Possibly a pullback there that you could have picked up. Worst case, it's either a no trade or a break even. Then we have a long. Lots of time to get into that one. We are at money management and just hit target 2, so a winner there. And we'll see how far that one goes. It looks like soybeans 77.75. We have a filtered stop and reverse short, and that's filtered by the hybrid trend mode, filtering out stop and reverse trades against the trend indicator. Now that stop and reverse trade is valid. It's valid because we stopped out at that short trade. We stopped out. We did touch that entry or that stop at 77.75. So that ends soybeans POQ for the day. And there is a long trade that we're definitely in on the Russell. Money management, target 3. And working toward target 4, trailing at 92.4. MNQ. Good morning, Trader Man. Targets 2, 3, and 4, trailing at 252.50. Target 4 on the Russell, micro Russell actually. 93.8 for the trailer. 255.25 for the MNQ trailer. All right, Russell stopped out at 93.8, and now we have another long. We got a fair chance of, that was a 10-second bar on bar 3, so I would say we had a chance to get into that. Target 3 achieved. Wow. 270 even for the MNQ trailer. Big one here. MNQ stopping out. Short setup on the MNQ, and that just triggered in. 74.25. Russell stopping out of that trade after target 3 and 4. Wow. Nice up moves on Russell and MNQ. And I don't see the... Okay, the Russell's getting up close to its session highs. MNQ also close, but not there yet. About 30, was about 30 points, but now very successful getting to target 1s and break even. 274 even for the trailer. Trailing stop at break even now. Once again, we are on the March contracts. Micro Russell, Micro NQ, and YM. Volume is solidly on the March contracts today. Looked like it probably was. Wasn't. It was probably split, pretty well split yesterday. As I mentioned, I didn't look at it yesterday. Okay, 10 a.m. crude session coming up in about a little over 8 to 9 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, 8.5 minutes. All right, target 2 on the MNQ, winning trade number 2. Russell not getting a short trade because it was above this EMA, the cyan EMA, and that kept us from getting a setup there. All right. Crude stops out of that trade, so we'll look for a new one for our 10 a.m. session. And long trade, triggering in the stop and reverse, 71.50. Giving us just a little bit of a profit on the 3 positions still remaining. And the Russell also with a long trade. Only 5 seconds to target 1, so I will say that one's another no trade. I'm not sure what you mean, William. What do you mean you've not been able to set pending orders on both sides of the current price? From the okay, so you're okay. What the ATM will let you do is it. The ATM is basically where you'll set up your brackets once for that will be implemented once your entry order triggers. But no, that won't set up you can't set up a strategy that essentially brackets current price, because the ATM doesn't trigger until you actually have an executed order. So yeah, what you actually would have to you can't do that with the ATM. You'd have to actually do that manually with a OC one cancels other pair at one. You'll do 2 orders up, one at 110 and one at 90. But no, the ATM won't do that for you because the ATM is a trade management. It's not a trade entry. So the ATM doesn't come into play until you actually have an executed order. It enters the bracket basically you set up your bracket, target, and stop orders for an executed entry. Now you can use the ATM would certainly set up the bracket orders for each of the orders. Yeah, if you have the bracket set up and you hit either one of those entry orders, as long as you set up the bracket on those, as long as you have the ATM in place when you place those orders, then your bracket order should tie to each one of those entry orders. All right, now let's see what we've got. I actually had a situation like that. Let's see if it shows up on here. I don't think it showed up on crude. I had it on micro crude this morning. Well, we can do it on the micro NQ. We're currently at 12. So let's place. All right. Okay, micro NQ definitely got triggered into the long. Yeah, that one we got in the short. All right, so let's expand that one so we can see it a little better. And I will bring up the chart trader. Okay, I'm using an ATM strategy. I've got the ATM strategy set up right here. And I'll show you what I am using there. I'm using a 2 contract and trail. So 2 contracts, one at target 1, one at target 2, or one at target 1 and target 2. I put it initially at 45 ticks profit, 30 tick loss. And the 0 is my trailing stop. Because I run 2 positions typically. In this case, let's see. Okay, so let's change this one up. This one I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And typical stop, let's see, that one's going to be pretty typical. Is going to be 15.5 points. So that's going to be 62 ticks. Okay, so I'm going to put in, I'll go ahead and set it up so it matches up. So 62. Okay, profit targets are going to be like, was it 28.5? So that is 112, 114. Add. And I need to just look at yeah, that one's standard. So 28.5. That was 114. 40.5 is 162. Okay. Oh, that wasn't nice. All right. And 52.50, it's 208, 210. All right, so that would be an appropriate four-contract trade. Obviously, that's minimal position size. Save that as okay, save that where I know where it is. All right, so now we've got price level is currently at 31. So let's see if we can get in at, we want to go long at 40. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is right click and put in OCO mode. So 140, I'm going to do a buy stop limit. The ATM strategy is already there. Or sorry, 240, 220. I'm going to do the same thing. Well, it already hit the 240, so it would have canceled what I put in. But see, it went ahead and put in the stops and targets for me off of my ATM. I just didn't get the 220 order in, but it would have canceled that when it hit. And it stopped out. But that's how it would work. Okay, we're down at 220. We'll do that again. Try to do that again at 230. I stop at 230. Oh, yep. I got to turn off OCO and then turn it back on. All right, we're at 225. So let's do 240 and that's 15 apart. And 210. So now I've got both of them in. They both have the ATM attached. In fact, I'm going to move this lower one up and put that at 214, which is the entry to the short there. And we can see what happens with these. And now I can turn off the OCO. There you go. Actually, well, I do that, and I don't bother with turning it because I would try to put an OCO order, would continue that OCO ID, and therefore you have to turn it off and turn it back on to get a new ID. But I don't usually bother with it. Okay, that's right. Looks like it's maybe a tick off. There's money management. But I essentially did the same thing. I had both orders with the ATMs attached, and it's just when one triggers, I just go in and cancel the other one because it's just one click. It really is easier to manually handle that second order than try to make it an OCO. Because you have to deal with turning the OCO on. You can also do that, I believe, with a keyboard shortcut. And I'd have to look at what that is. I believe there's a way you can put a keyboard shortcut to turn on the OCO order capability. There's target 2. And we're not going to get a trailer to... Yeah, we should be on trailing now. So we're going to be... It's still moving down. And I'm not moving it down quickly. Well, but how would the OCO be any faster? What I saw in the MCL, and the reason I missed it, the only reason I missed the long was because I was watching the data, and according to the data that I had, the price hit the short entry, and I actually had adjusted my short entry 2 ticks around the 50 EMA, and then it was I went in and actually deleted, because I had both the short and the long orders were there, and I deleted the long because it should have canceled on the entry into the short. Well, it turns out the calculator didn't take that entry, but with the data showing that it hit the stop, or it hit the entry, I said nope. Hit the unadjusted entry. I said no, that cancels the long. Took it off, and then then it went on and tracked the long trade. So, but yeah, if you've got a fast moving market, it's a whole lot. You using the OCO is a whole lot more involved than not, because you just you leave your ATM strategy set and put in your two orders and delete the one that if the short didn't trigger, you still put in both orders. As soon as you see a long order, you put it in, and if the short hasn't canceled yet, you leave it. And if the long triggers, then you cancel the short and go on. And your ATMs are attached to both orders. And I've seen that fairly often recently on Ninja with things that just came right to it, just touched an entry once in a while, and I'm seeing it, not pick up, so both at entries and stops, and it's curious. The long would have been, because the long would have been canceled by the short entry, but because as I say, I canceled the long order. I already had the long order in, and I canceled it based on seeing it hit the short entry. And I actually saw it touch the unadjusted short entry. As I say, I had adjusted my stop around the 200 around the 50 EMA, or my entry around the 50 EMA on that particular trade. But yeah, that's a case where if it turn if unless it actually gives you a cancel, you leave the order that's existing alone and just go ahead and get the next one in. It's it's easy to move back, and one click will cancel the order when you actually do get a cancel situation, or if you need to go somewhere else for it. Well, no, you can actually absolutely put both orders in without OCO. There's no need to go through the additional step of turning on the OCO to put both orders in. And when you put the first one in, you wouldn't have had OCO on anyway. But I just don't. It's just an extra step that I don't need, and because it actually takes longer to turn on the OCO each time and turn it off. So I just place my orders and cancel them as necessary, and then the ATM brackets being there doesn't. They're always going to be there as long as I have the ATM set. So, yeah, the only time I use the OCOs is when I have to manually rebuild a set of handles for the bracket orders, and I very seldom do that nowadays. I use other tools. Okay, that's not Ninja. That's your broker not letting you do that. Because I don't have any problem at all doing that. Because I do it exact. Yeah. Okay. So it's either you're either on. Oh no! Wait a minute. You're over in Europe, so I'm not sure which broker they're introducing over there. Over here, it's either Phillip Capital or Dorman Trading. I actually do my. I actually have my Ninja connected to my Interactive Brokers account. But yeah, that there's isn't the reason you shouldn't be able to put, unless, as I say, unless your broker won't let you put opposing orders in like that. Now will it let you do that with the OCO on? Try that well, try it in sim mode and see if it'll let you do it with the OCO. But yeah, as I say, that's not at all unusual for me, is to put one in, to put two opposing orders, entry orders, as long as they're entries. There's no problem. I have no problem doing that with Ninja on Interactive Brokers, or for that on Owanda for that matter, in my Forex stuff. Yeah, so that actually is a broker limitation. It sounds like. What does the error say specifically? Yeah, that so it's assuming that you have opposing orders. And it's assuming one of those is an exit order. Yeah, you'll have, because you should have a contact for the underlying brokerage, and that would be who you need to speak to about that. Yes, very definitely. Because as you see, I did that in sim, but I do it all the time in live trading, and on both, as I say, on both my futures trading on Interactive Brokers, and my Forex trading on Owanda, through NinjaTrader. Yes, for a very short time, uh, NinjaTrader, not maybe a year, 18 months or to a year. NinjaTrader was an introducing broker for Forex, and one of their the brokerages they were introducing for was Awanda, and I opened an Awanda account for just that reason. So because Awanda is one of the brokers that Troy, in fact, it's the broker that Troy uses. And when I got the opportunity to tie it directly into their data on NinjaTrader, and I jumped on it. And I'm glad I did. And I wish I had gone ahead and set up a couple of sub accounts, but I can't right now. I can't even. I have the one account that I have to do all of my trading in, that I'm going to trade through NinjaTrader. But unfortunately, you can't get that at this time any longer. They have been working ever since Ninja stopped becoming an introducing broker. They've been working on trying to get a program in place to allow Awanda connection to NinjaTrader, but that just hasn't happened yet. And that's been a year and a half now. Because it was like July. Yeah, I think it was about July of 21 when Ninja exited the Forex introducing broker market. They they were an introducing broker for a while, and then the options at the moment. I think they still they still have an FXCM connection that you can use in Europe, but FXCM was forced to exit the U.S. market. So we have, I think, Forexcom is now the only option for direct connection over here. But I believe that you can use FXCM over there. But as Troy does, he uses TradeStation provides Forex data, so you can chart with it, but you can't trade through TradeStation. They're no longer a Forex broker. So he trade, and he's pretty much always traded with Awanda through MT4 using FX Synergy, FX Synergy Trade Manager. So if that's your plan too, you can. And I think, if memory serves properly, Kinetic uses FXCM data for their Forex feed. So that would be an opportunity. And we missed the 10 a.m. crude session talking through all of this, which too fast on the short. That's too early. Short didn't trigger long, just niggled in. Yeah, 5 seconds back down to here. That you wouldn't have been able to execute that anyway. So then you pick up the short at 10:15, and that gives us a target one and a small trailer for a one and done session. So that would have been our trade from entry at 74.78 to target at 74.59 for 19 ticks, and stopping out at 72 for an additional 6. So another 25 ticks. So 50 ticks on the day. On two. All kind of shenanigans going on over there. That actually was not a valid trade because I believe it did touch because it had already touched the entry, and by the time it went to the stop and then came back to the entry. But that actually did give the example I was looking to do. But yeah, that's a matter of the broker not recognizing the fact that you're putting two separate entry orders in. The broker's taking it as an entry order. No problem. But that's, yeah, the broker's taking the second entry order as an exit order for the initial trade, and that's that's not what it is. No, that was a good question. Because not everybody's over here in the U.S. And I've also used Dorman because I have used the Ninja brokerage with Dorman trading here in the U.S. and had no problem with doing that either. But yeah, you should have gotten some contact information for the actual broker that Ninja introduced you to. But I've never had a problem with bracketed orders, entry orders. All right, folks. Any other questions? It looks like the Russell got a little noisy there. All right, then I'm going to call it a morning because we've got a lot. My wife and I have a lot to do to get ready to head out on Friday for our Christmas travels. Christmas being on Sunday, I know that I will have fairly good internet where we're staying. We've stayed there many years at this point. So I am expecting to be running the room next week, but we'll play that. We'll go ahead and put it up and play it by ear. And if things aren't working out, I'll post a message in the Trade Hacking Club on Discord. So we will see everybody tomorrow, 9:30 regular session, 10:30 crude oil inventory. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow.